Well, the federal government has promised to lower the cost of medicines to no more than $25 in an election eve play for votes. Joining me now is Independent MP Di Lee. Good morning to you, Di. Great to see you as always. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, first of all, I think that the cost of living is really hitting families in Fowler and Southwest very hard. And I think this is, supporting those that are missing out or deferring taking medicine. So I think it is a good start. I think my concern, obviously, is we are sounding like we're going to go into a deficit in the budget. It's just I'm really concerned about that, and of course, I'm concerned as well that we need to support the cost of living for many families in Western and, of course, across Australia. So, look, I welcome it, but with a bit of trepidation in terms of what will it mean long term for our economy and for our families. And as you have to remember, I mean, all of this money that the government is spending and announcing, it is, after all, taxpayers' money. We pay the tax, and then they say, "Oh, here, give you back a few dollars, to help with your medicine or to help with your energy bills." When in reality, we are that's our money in the first place. So there is the government is still failing to really, from my perspective, fundamentally, fix the system, be it energy, be it petrol, be it medicine. And this, to me, sounds like a short-term approach. I just hope to hear what are the long-term approach to address our cost of living for families and, of course, for small businesses in Southwest and Western Sydney and in areas like Fowler.
Absolutely. Some good points you made there. I mean, the last time Australians paid no more than $25 for a PBS medicine was over 20 years ago. But this is good for Australians, as you mentioned, but it's more about the longer term. And at the end of the day, it's more government spending. What are your thoughts more broadly on this deficit that we're expecting next week in the budget? Jim Chalmers can't pull a rabbit out of the hat in the last minute?
Oh, a lot of people, ministers and all that will always, make big headline promises. And just to remind them to really be mindful of what they promise and what they can deliver. I went door knocking yesterday in Warwick Farm, which is a very, a suburb that's within the low socio-economic area in our Fowler community. And people are telling me that they are so sick and tired of the major parties. That impacts, of course, any people like myself going out there and trying to represent the community. And I did say, look, I'm an independent and I have kept the government accountable and calling them out a lot on their failed policies. And they said, look, we'll give you a go. But they're very disappointed with the major parties, especially those who voted, obviously, Labor for a long time in areas like Warwick Farm. So how do we rebuild the trust? People to trust our politicians, our prime ministers, our ministers when they make promises. Hopefully they're going to be responsible in their spending, because we need irresponsible economic management for our community as well as for our country to really thrive in the future. And if you keep on spending like this, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's all good and well to come out with these announcements and, the PBS announcement or medication announcement, that's great, but it's not really reflecting back into Australians' back pockets, and that's the discussions I'm having with a lot of people too. I mean, we've got power prices set to inch higher again. It's sort of like, what do Australians believe at the moment when they're hurting so much?
Absolutely. Look, people, I mean, it's like an electric shock, right? With the news that the AER, the Australian Energy Regulators, announced just last week about the potential increase of 9%, especially in New South Wales. And I cannot emphasise enough the pain that my community, families and workers and businesses are feeling out here. And they're already feeling the pain of paying the energy bills as well as the insurance costs as well as grocery bills. And now with the prediction of a further increase of 9%, that is going to cause a huge electric shock to many people. And what will the government do to address that? And I would just flag and warn the government, don't just give short-term minuscule rebates and not think of long-term structural fix for especially our energy sector, because it feels like the AER is doing price fixing for the energy, retailers there, rather than actually being a referee and regulating to ensure that prices stabilise. There's so much to be done, so much more to be done for our our communities that are suffering with the cost of living at the moment.
And these are several weak points for the Albanese government leading into this federal election. And the points that you're raising today, Di, I've just got to ask you. I mean, you're debating Angus Taylor and Andrew Charlton, the Special Envoy, of course, for cybersecurity tonight at Western Sydney Uni. How are you feeling about that?
I hope that it's not about debating. I think it's about having a conversation. And I think I'll keep the two accountable, whatever promises they're going to make, whether or not they have lived the lives of those in Western and Southwestern Sydney. Right, so they are representing Western and Southwestern Sydney. I will ask, those two gentlemen, to really think about what their parties are promising for our families and workers and small business in Southwest and Western Sydney. If they've lived out here, if they understand our struggles, then I hope what they will contribute to that conversation will hopefully enlighten the public or whoever is going to be there on tonight. So I hope it'll be a conversation, and I will definitely keep them accountable. And that's my role as an independent, and that's a great thing. I will not stick to any political or party scripts. I will stick to the information that my community has given me in terms of what's hurting them and what are some of the, lack in terms of accountability and the failed promises, and just the government of the day not really delivering on the cost of living for families here in Western Sydney.
Some tough questions will be asked, I'm sure. All the best with it tonight, Di. Lovely to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Holly.